and I have known each other a long time. We were colleagues at the Hindustan Times in that prehistoric era when he was looking after distribution, circulation, and I was editor. It was a long time ago, so it's good to do something again. I'll just tell you the broad rules for this webinar. It's difficult enough to do it with so many eminent people in the same room. It's even more difficult to do it when people are disconnected and are looking at little screens and trying to find each other. So I will get, first of all, Nakul Anand to give us a brief overview. And then I will ask each person about different areas in the industry. I've had chats with them, so I know roughly what everyone is interested in. It's a bit difficult on Zoom, I've discovered, for many reasons. One is if two people talk at the same time, you often can't hear anyone. The second is the technology often lets you down. Sometimes Wi-Fi is not good, sometimes Zoom fails. And Bhuvnesh informed me excitedly that last Sunday there were porno hacks on Zoom, that while people were talking, hackers got to work and pornography was shown. If that happens, well, what can I say? Enjoy yourselves. But until then, we'll do our best to try and make this work. Let me introduce the panelists. I think most people have already seen our ads, know who they are, and Bhuvanesh has mentioned them. But let me introduce them in no particular. You missed who?
Vikram.
You missed Vikram. Okay, so let me introduce them in no particular order. Most of you will know Dr. Jyotsna Suri, who's not just the owner of Lalit Hotels, but is also a respected voice in the industry. She's represented industry on many, many industry bodies, has interacted closely with government over the decades. And if anybody understands Delhi and how the government works, and also understands the hotel industry, it's Dr. Suri. Priya Paul, also many of you will know. I think the official designation is something to do with APG Surendra Hotels, but most of you will know her as the person who runs Park Hotels, and more significantly, as a person who's been truly ahead of her times, who's introduced the idea of a hip hotel to India, who's learned how to appeal to a younger demographic, and has been one of the pioneers of F&B. Vikram Oberoi also needs no introduction. In this kind of gathering, his surname alone would be an introduction, but Vikram's much more than just his father's son. Since he's taken over as CEO of the Oberoi Group, the product has improved by leaps and bounds, and it's really a pleasure for me that he's here. Patu Keswani, I have known for years and years, since his days. I think he was resident manager at Taj Mansingh. He was always one of the smartest people the Tatas had. He was the tax officer, easily the smartest guy in Taj Group, left, became an entrepreneur, and is I think the most successful hotel entrepreneur of his generation. He runs Lemon Tree Hotels, which all of you have heard of. Who does that leave? Sanjay Sharma, again a Taj connection. I knew Sanjay when he was a catering assistant at the Taj Bengal. He was even then a star. He's gone on to bigger and bigger things. He's now head of Hyatt Hotels in India. Neeraj Govil and Nakul Anand, who I will introduce later, run between them the two largest hotel chains in India. That's if you don't count 2-star hotels and 1-star hotels to increase your numbers. So these are the guys who are really in many ways going to determine the future of the industry. Neeraj, who's usually low profile, and I'm very glad has agreed to come today, has worked all over the world. He understands hoteliering from a global perspective, and his strength, I think, is not just that he have that global perspective, he's also very good on details locally. Who have I left out? I'm trying to think. Well, obviously I've left out Nakul, who I will introduce last, but I think Mr. Kachru. Mr. KV Kachru is one of those people you can't leave out when you think of the Indian hotel industry. He's one of the stalwarts of the industry. He's seen it grow over decades. He understands it inside out. He's been associated with Radisson Hotels for many, many years, and he has an emeritus position. But he's here not just to represent Radisson, but because of his own stature, his own identity. Bhuvanesh, have I left out anyone except for Nakul? Don't think so. Okay, so I'll introduce Nakul Anand. Nakul Anand is the doyen of the Indian hotel industry. He's an ITC lifer. He started as a lobby manager. His first job was with ITC Hotels. He's seen the chain grow. the way in which ITC pushed into luxury over the last 10, 15 years is entirely Nakul's doing. He's created the modern ITC chain as we know it. He's, of course, now in a much more elevated position. He's a director on the board of ITC, the parent company. He looks after many things, retail, health, one of which is hotels. But he has a unique perspective on the hotel industry. So Nakul, I'm going to start with you. If you could give us, in say a few minutes, because we don't have a lot of time.
Don't forget faith.
Okay, I always have faith in Nakul, but Nakul is also head of faith, which is a federation of hotels and associated industries. But Nakul, if you could start by giving us your perspective. I've always noticed it because you're so deeply well-read and such a details guy. You have an overall perspective that I always learn from. So tell us in about 7 or 8 minutes, what you think the scene is currently for the hotel industry, what you think will happen, and what the future will be.